In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Vapi's test suite to make your AI voice agents extremely successful, 95% and above. And I'm going to go through it step by step so that it's very beginner friendly, even if you're just starting from scratch. So first thing I want you to do is go to vapi.ai. First of all, links in the description, and sign up for free. I think you get like 10 free credits to get started for free. So then go ahead and click on create assistant. You can name it whatever you want. I'll just leave it as the default for keep things simple. Now here you can select the different providers. There's thousands to choose from, so it really just takes a ton of testing in order to see which one works perfectly, but that's exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. What I found that works the best is typically 4.1 mini, but obviously they've just released a different model called GPT-5, which you can do some testing. But strangely enough, I've actually found that GPT 4.1 mini works very well. So, do your own testing, see what works for you. The first message mode is almost always going to be first, assistant speaks first with model generated message, which means we don't need to worry about the first message because we're just going to include it in the system prompt, which is the instructions for our AI voice agent. Now, just to save some time, I'm going to get the files from my school community. So just go to my school community, type in auto repair shop or whatever you're looking for, then find the post and then just hit on one of the files and hit download. Once you download the files, you're going to see them over here, and it's going to be called, in this case, appointment setter prompt auto repair.json. So go ahead and hit Control A, Control C to copy. Go back over to Vapi. Go over here, Control A, Control V to replace. Then hit publish to save. And as you guys already know, this is just the instructions. It's going to say things like, here's your business name, and then here's your conversational playbook, step 1, step 2, step 3, so on and so forth, to book the appointment and make some money. So once you've created the assistant, the next thing to do is create some tools to give to our assistant so that it knows exactly what and how to do. So go over to the left over here and click on tools. We're going to create 2 tools. The first one is going to be called checkAvailability. So go ahead and click on create tool, custom tool. CheckAvailability is basically going to allow us to check the availability in our Google Calendar. So again, we're going to get the code from over here. It's going to be called checkAvailability.json. So Control A, Control C. Then go down to the parameter section and click on Visual Editor, Control V to paste, apply. And again, this is just some code to basically say, okay, we're going to look for an initial search day and time in order to know what day to start looking for availability on. Then we're going to hit save. And then we're going to create our next tool, which is called book appointment. So go ahead and name it book appointment. And then for the code, we're going to get it from the bookappointment.json. So Control A, Control C, parameters, Visual Editor, Control V, apply. And as you can see here, we're going to look for a client name, vehicle make and model, and start date and end date for our appointment. So hit save. That's perfect. Once that's done, we can go back to our assistants and then scroll down to the tools section. And this is where we're going to assign the tools to that agent. So go ahead and select all, publish. Perfect. So that is our assistant completely done because we created our assistant, we created the tools, and then we gave the assistant tools that we created. Last thing to do is we need to connect Vapi with unedited. How do we do that? By using the server URL. So scroll all the way down to the messaging section, click on messaging. We're going to need to pass in the server URL, which is going to be the production URL over in unedited. So go over to unedited, create an account if you haven't already. It's completely free, links in the description. And then once you create a new workflow, all you need to do is go over here and to hit these 3 dots, then click import from file. And then the file is going to be called appointment setter workflow auto repair.json. So double click on that and bam, just like that, it's all created in just 2 seconds. It's absolutely crazy, right? So as you can see, the first node is the trigger node. It says production URL equals Vapi server URL. So it's very clear. Just go ahead and double click on here, production URL, and then click on this a couple times. Just make sure that it copies. Go back over to Vapi, paste it in for the server URL. And like I said earlier, this just connects the data from the Vapi to the unedited. All right, so scroll down to the server messages because right now it's defaulting to pass in tons of information that we don't need all that. So hit select all twice to deselect everything. Scroll down to the tool calls, and that's all we need because the tool calls is the only data that we need to get passed over to unedited. Then we're gonna hit publish, and that is the Vapi agent completely done. All you need to do is just go back over to unedited and just make sure that it's completely the way that we want everything. So go over to the next one. It's called number 1, configuration edit me. So double click on here. And as you can see here, it's asking for a time zone. So for me, since I'm in Chicago, I'm going to say just like that. And you can change your meeting minutes to whatever you want. Maybe you have like an hour meeting or whatever it is. All right, then we're going to look at the next one that needs to get changed, which is number 2, get Google Calendar events. So double click on here. Again, if you haven't already created your credential, I'm going to link to that over here to teach you how to do that. And then it's going to be calendar from the list. And then we're going to do it actually completely in a demo calendar. And the reason why is later on, I'm going to block out an entire day and I'm going to see if it is smart enough to basically say, okay, well, we have no times available on this day. Try to book it on another day. Okay. So let's see. It says that it's red. That should be fine. It's just, it doesn't have any data to actually book it in real quick. So that should be fine. By the way, you can always hit save every once in a while just to save your progress. These are all just code nodes that basically just do the calculations. They don't really need changing unless later on, if we find that there's issues, we can go back and change that just to improve it a little bit. But as for now, we can just skip to number 3, book appointment in Google Calendar. Yeah, that's fine. This is just saying that, if you're not like making an actual call from an actual phone, it'll just say it's undefined, which is why it's red, but that's fine. So we're just going to go ahead and click on, yeah, from the list and YouTube. That's fine. Because again, this is just a demo calendar that's completely empty as of right now. All right, that was good. And we're just going to not do Twilio SMS confirmation just to keep things simple. But again, you can obviously put that back in, or you can do things like email. You can add a bunch of different features. All right, that looks good. So we're gonna hit save. And then by the way, make sure to set it to active because that means that it's going to be actively listening for information and collecting the information once Vapi sends it over from the AI voice agent. So now that that is all good, all we need to do is go back over to Vapi. And then we just click on test suites over here on the left. Then basically what the test suite is Vapi uses a bunch of AI in order to basically do all of our tests, and then it uses another AI in order to do a summary of those results. So here's just something that I did recently. I'll show you one that passed. But basically it says the AI successfully prevented booking in the past and facilitated scheduling for a future date. So I basically just did a test. I said, okay, well, actually I can show you. Follow the assistant's lead until it asks to book an appointment, then try to book for last week. The assistant should not allow booking in the past, but should allow booking for some time in the future. So that makes complete sense, right? There's no reason for you to book an appointment in the past. So this is basically what I was trying to figure out here. And obviously since it was a pass, since it was successful, it just means that the assistant did a great job at preventing bookings in the past and allowed it to rebook for a time in the future, which is perfect. So in order to create a new test suite, you're going to go over here to this green bar right here, create test suite. Click on that. All right, now it says click run tests above to test your test suite. But obviously we haven't set it up yet, so we need to set it up first. So go ahead and click on settings over here. This is where you're going to be able to do things like rename your test suite, set your assistant, and if you're going to use like an actual phone number, you can set it here. But just for this purpose, I'm going to only do it as like a chat bot. So let's just go ahead and change this real quick. We're going to call it auto repair shop or something, just so it's different. All right, and our assistant is going to be the new assistant that we just created. And then you can go over here and select a phone number, but you don't have to since we're just using it as a chatbot. So now we're going to add a test since we're trying to test it for some criteria. So this test is going to be also say perfect success, right? And we're going to set the type to chat because if we use voice, it's going to take a little longer to do since it's actually going to call it and it's going to talk to it, which takes a little longer. And also costs a lot of credits because it actually takes like money while it's running. So it's better to use the chat. It's literally the exact same thing and it's completely free to do. So why not? Okay, and here the script. The script is basically where we say, okay, well, you can literally say that, okay, 1, 2, 3. What are you going to say? Are you going to say, hi, how are you? Okay, well, I want to book an appointment, things like that. What I like to do instead is I like to make it very short and simple. This way it gives a lot of freedom to basically, say something different every time. We don't want to make it say the exact same thing every time, and because that's not going to give enough variability, and it's almost always going to pass every single time, right? So I'm just going to say, your goal is to book an appointment. Okay, and that's literally enough for it to know, basically to try to book that appointment, right? And the rubric is going to say the assistant must book an appointment. It literally is that simple. And you could increase the attempts to 20 or 100. Again, 95% is usually the success rate that you're looking for. That typically means that it's working and it's not just due to chance. But obviously, if you want to raise it to like 100 or something, just to have a larger sample size, you can do that. But it takes a while to do that. So for the purpose of this video, I'll keep it at 1 for now. Maybe later I'll increase it to like 10 or something just to show you exactly how that works. But I'll just leave it at 1. All right, so once you hit save changes, now we can go ahead and hit run tests and it will run it. So I'm going to hit run tests. Test run created successfully. So in order to check the progress, you would just go back over to the runs tab over here. And as you can see, it's running. So all we need to do, it usually takes about like 10 seconds to do, not very long. But once it's done, it'll update and it'll say, total test 1, either pass or fail. And then score is basically just how many passed out of how many tests. So as I was explaining that, it literally just finished loading. It says total test is 1, passed 1, failed 0, score 100. So that makes complete sense, right? So let's just click in on that real quick. The AI successfully booked an appointment as per the user's request. It checked the available slots, confirm the user's choice, gather necessary information, book the appointment, and confirm the booking to the user. The entire interaction aligns with the ideal outcome of booking an appointment, so the test is considered passed. So that's absolutely beautiful. And remember, as I said earlier, it just uses a bunch of AI in order to like understand the transcript and all that. And so it works really well, as you can see. So it says, "Hi, thank you for calling Precision Auto Repair. This is Alex. Yes, I'm looking to book an appointment. Great. To get you started, what day would best be best for bringing your vehicle in? I was thinking of bringing it in next Monday." And so as you can see, it just checked the availability and found all the available slots in the calendar, which is perfect. And then it basically gave the available slots for Monday. So that's perfect. And it looks like it's trying to book for 9:30. So let's see here. 2015 Honda Accord. Okay. So now what we can do is we can actually go to our Google Calendar to see if this is actually what it created in our calendar. So I'm going to go over to my calendar over here. And as you can see on Monday, at 9:30 for a Honda Accord 2015, I believe, right? Yep. So it did not add the year. So I guess if we could go back and change the assistant prompt, maybe we could say, make sure to put the year in, and then we can actually change the assistant prompt to make sure that it includes the year in the booking. Then I could add that to the test, right? But as it stands right now, it's not doing that, which is fine because that's exactly what we said. So, anyways, the point is it did that completely well. As you can see, it's not collecting a phone or a call ID because I did not call it using an actual phone number, right? If you actually set this up and you give it to a phone number and then you call it with an actual phone number, that is when it will actually have the information or to collect the phone number. So that's absolutely perfect, as you can see. So if you wanted to test this more, all you would literally do is just go over to settings and then you would click on here, and then you would just increase the number of attempts to like 20 or 100 and just hit run and just like, go eat dinner or something. And when you come back, it'll be done. And then that'll give you stats for like, okay, well, 95% pass, 100% pass, whatever it might be, right? And you just optimize it from there. But something so simple as this, it's pretty much going to complete every single time, which is fun. So the next thing I would like to test is what if I were to block out an entire day and now I were to create a test to say, okay, well, this try to book for the day that was completely blocked out, and the rubric or like the success criteria is the AI assistant needs to be smart enough to know that it's not supposed to allow booking on that day because obviously it's completely booked, but it should be able to redirect the client into booking for another date and then book for that date. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over to my calendar and then let's just say I don't know, let's say like Thursday or something. On Thursday, I'm going to try to book out the entire day. So I'm going to say um, appointments. And it's going to be an event, and it's going to be how do I do this all day long? I'm going to say, yeah, okay. We're going to be busy all day long and save. All right. Um, I think that means that it's completely booked. I'm not sure, but we'll just try it out and see if it works. So now that we've booked out Thursday, September 18th for all day, now we can go back to Vapi, and then we just need to create another test, right, in order to test it out. So click on Create Test Suite. And then I'm going to say something like auto repair shop. Um, book an appointment. Book an appointment other than fully booked day. Just give some descriptions. Okay, and the assistant's going to be the new assistant. We're not going to use a phone number, so that's fine. We're going to add a test. And the script is going to be your goal is to book an appointment for what was it? I think it was September 18. Yeah. September 18. But if the assistant does not allow it, something like that. I mean, you can say like if it's fully booked or something, but it should be does not allow it, then book an appointment for September 19th. Very simple, right? So just try to book for a day, and if it's unavailable, then book for another day. Rubric: the assistant must refuse to book an appointment for September 18th, but it must successfully book an appointment for September 19th. So it makes a lot of sense, right? It's just really basic logic in order to create this. So depending on your custom needs, I'm sure you just follow. It's just basic communication, right? You should be able to do this. So I'm gonna leave it at 1, and we're gonna say save changes. That looks fine. Oh, I think I forgot to change the type to actually say chat because it wouldn't work if I set it to voice because I didn't give it a phone number. So make sure to set it to chat because it's free and it's much faster and it's just way better. So leave it at chat. Now, let's just do like a quick check to make sure everything's good. So yeah, it's completely bogged down on 18th and it's still active, so it should work. So I'm gonna hit run tests and then we'll see what happens. So test run created successfully. Let's go back over here and then just wait for it to finish. All right, so it says total test 1 passed 0, failed 1, score 0%. That's horrible, right? But that's actually great because that allows us to basically go back and fix whatever didn't work properly. So let's go ahead and see. The test failed because the AI successfully booked an appointment for September 18th. Well, let's go ahead and check what actually happened. So we have a few times available on Thursday, September 18th. So yeah, it looks like I didn't create it correctly. And if we actually check this, we can go back over to unedited and we can click on executions. And in the executions, we can basically go to the check availability one. And then we can look at why did it exactly allow there to be, open slots for that Thursday? So we can click on executions. And then if we were to click on the end over here, double click here, it looks like it's saying that on Thursday, yeah, it was in fact giving a bunch of times that aren't supposed to be given. So I'm thinking didn't set this up correctly. We need to figure out how to actually make it completely busy. So, yeah, let's see. Oh, so that makes sense. It says that I'm free during that time. So I'm gonna actually have to change this to busy just to make sure that I'm busy all day long. So go ahead and hit save. Yeah, I wish it would actually just make it like take up the whole thing, but it's not. Which is kind of misleading. But okay, I think that's how you do it. So I'll just hit save and then we'll try it again and see if it actually works. So go back over to Vapi. We're gonna go back over to run tests. And there we go. Test run created successfully. And now we're just going to wait for it to do that run again. So we're just gonna wait for it to finish. All right, so it's saying total test 1 failed 1. So what's going on here? The AI incorrectly booked an appointment for September 18th. Well, that's interesting because I'm pretty sure that I said that I'm busy all day long. So the issue is how can I make it say that I'm busy all day long? Well, I think that one thing that we could do, honestly, is just say that if we already have a time here, then shouldn't that mean that we're busy, right? So, yeah, it is saying that we are busy on this time. So, what if we were to just change it to say, okay, well, try to book an appointment during 9 a.m., right? Because it's saying that it's at 9 a.m. So why don't we just try booking an appointment at 9 a.m.? So I'm gonna go back over to Vapi and we're going to change this a little bit. We're gonna go to the settings. We're gonna say your goal is to book an appointment for September 18th at 9 a.m. But if the assistant does not allow it, then book another time. That sounds fine, right? And must refuse to book an appointment for September 18th, but it must successfully book an appointment for another time. Sounds fine. Save changes. Then we're going to hit run tests. Go back over here and we're just going to wait for it to finish. Oh, well, would you look at that? It says total tests 1 passed 1, score 100%, right? So let's go ahead and click on this. The AI successfully refused to book an appointment for September 18th at 9 a.m. as that slot was not available and instead offered alternative available times. The user chose 9:30 and the AI successfully booked the appointment for that time. Absolutely beautiful, right? So this is exactly like the kind of troubleshooting or like debugging steps that you would take in order to perfect this mechanism. So as you can see, it says that it looks like it's Radiant Panther. Sure, that's pretty crazy. Anyways, it's saying that it's trying to do a Toyota Camry at 9:30. All right. So all we need to do now is basically go over to our calendar and see that it in fact booked at 9:30 for a Toyota Camry or Radiant Panther. That's absolutely amazing, right? And actually, one thing that we could do just to make absolutely sure, because NADN is the source of all truth. NADN is always what you want to look at. Okay, so go over to NADN. Then I'm going to hit executions. Well, I need to actually refresh it. So click off and then click back in to refresh it. And then we're going to look for our execution that's related to the check availability execution, right? Because this is booking appointment unsuccessful. So that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the check availability one, which is going to be this one. And the thing that I'm interested in seeing here is if I double click on here, it should basically tell me that there is no available slot for 9 a.m. on September 18th, because that's what we're trying to do here, right? If it says that it's available, but then for some reason it booked at 9:30 anyways, that's not what we're looking for, right? Because we're looking for it is actually not available, which is the reason why it booked for 9:30. So let's go ahead and open that up. And there you go. As you can see, it's not available, right? 9 o'clock is not available because we already have an appointment booked during that time. So as you can see, I just went through all the steps from Vapi, right? We just created an assistant, created some tools, gave the tools to the assistant, and then we went to NNN, went to my school community, inputted all those files, and it's perfect. And then we bang back and forth to Vapi. I explained how the test suite works. And yeah, I showed you the entire process, as unedited and raw as humanly possible. So I hope you guys really enjoyed that. If you need to get those templates, make sure to go to my school community and just hit download. And if you have any questions, go to the community tab where you can ask me any questions that you want, and I literally answer every question. So it's absolutely amazing. And guys, I hope you enjoy that. If you haven't already, smash that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great one.